Hello retro gamers and welcome to another video where I attempt to fix something. In this video we have a Sega Mega Drive controller, or Genesis controller depending on where you're from. I bought this in a lot of controllers off eBay, all of them broken for about $30. So this is the first of that lot which I'm fixing. You may see others in future videos. Now that lot costs about $30 and working Mega Drive controllers on eBay in Australia also go for about $30. So if I can get this to work, that box of broken controllers has already paid for itself. Pulling it open and having a look at it, it actually is in pretty decent shape. However, it is grimy as all hell. However, the plug looks like it's been chewed on by something, so let's hope that that still works. The first order of business is to plug everything in and see how it currently operates. First off, it's apparent that the diagonal buttons do not work at all. I think if I mashed them a little bit on certain angles, I may have gotten something out of them, but no, not much life at all. The A, B, and C and start button do seem to work, but yes, the diagonal buttons not working obviously means that I can't really use this controller, especially for racing games where steering is pretty important. So obviously the first order of business is to crack it open and see what's going on with the innards. Now the screws were actually pretty rusty. I don't understand the specifics of how a metal thing that's rusty in plastic can't still easily be screwed out, but regardless, I had a lot of trouble. One by one, I got all the screws around the perimeter out. However, the one in the middle proved to be quite tricky. I probably threw about 5 or 6 different screwdrivers at this damn thing, and while I got it to move sometimes, eventually the inside of the screw ended up just deteriorating away, so no screwdriver could actually get a grip on it. So in a moment of desperation, I did put some WD-40 on it, but as I said, it's a metal screw in a plastic housing, so WD-40 didn't really do much except make the controller smell like WD-40. So with the desperation continuing, I just grabbed my drill and drilled the damn thing out. The goal was to just drill into the screw itself, just so it would basically deteriorate, even more so than it is. This didn't really work. The drill sort of went down the side of the screw and sort of screwed up the little screw housing, but regardless, I was able to then open the Mega Drive controller. I will never be putting another screw into that middle screw hole again, unfortunately, but if any of them were to fail, it's probably best that it's that one. I noticed later on that if you don't put the screws into the outer housing, it doesn't really go together properly, but speaking from the future, the middle one not being there didn't really cause any ongoing issues. But yeah, as you can see, I've completely and utterly mangled this screw, so in the bin it goes. Checking out the assembly for the diagonal buttons, it actually appears that the controller buttons that you push on the controller actually connect up to another piece of plastic through the circuit board, and the contacts are actually on the underside of the circuit board. So basically pushing a button then pushes down on a wheel, which then in turn pushes on an opposite contact, initiating the contact. So I think it's a little bit over-engineered if I'm going to be honest, but I'm sure there is a reason for it. But regardless, it's quite interesting that they've done this. I've opened up a few controllers over the years, and I've never seen anything like it. Inspecting the board, there didn't really seem to be anything out of place. All the traces seemed fine, as did the contacts. So I did what any self-respecting YouTuber will do who fixes shit online, and I sprayed some isopropyl alcohol on it and gave it a scrub with a bit of a brush. I know it may seem like all my recent repairs seem to be fixed with this method, but really it's just been luck on my part. Just so it happens, all the things that have needed fixing have really just been dirty. So yeah, I gave it a bit of a scrub with the isopropyl alcohol and I did the rest of the board for good effect. You will notice there is a ring around there that isn't actually grime or dirt or anything. That's actually where the little top bit of the assembly of the diagonal buttons is actually worn away on the circuit board. So that ring you see there is actually the underside of the circuit board, believe it or not. It doesn't really appear to be causing any harm or whatever, so yeah, it is what it is. So just putting everything back together in a temporary sort of measure, and huzzah, it works. Very lucky indeed, again for me. I was able just to literally clean it with a toothbrush and isopropyl alcohol, and the thing's working again. So yeah, I guess that's satisfying. I still got it working nonetheless, even though I didn't have to do any real electronics. And just to make sure that everything is on the level, I put it back together as it is supposed to be, and it works perfectly. So now that I have a working controller, it is time to clean this thing, because this thing is dang filthy. There's lots of dust, grime, and who knows what else, so this will all be going into the sink to be washed individually. Before that though, I did put the screws in a little bowl of white vinegar just for good effect because they were quite rusty. Looking back on it now, I'm actually not sure what effect white vinegar has on screws. I mean, I don't know, like I didn't actually look it up and I haven't looked it up since. Regardless, it did get rid of all the flaky little rusty bits off it anyway, and all the screws went in fine after that. So, I may as well have just done it in water, but white vinegar is what happened to be on my bench at the time. And as for washing all the other bits, I mean, it's not really that interesting to watch at all. In fact, I don't even know why I filmed it. But basically, I just filled up the basin with some lukewarm water and then just put normal dishwashing detergent in that. And yeah, I scrubbed it with a toothbrush basically and left them out to dry overnight. And with that, we have a sexy and clean Mega Drive controller that is ready to go back to work. Obviously, it's not in the best condition in some places, i.e. the plug, which is all chewed up, but regardless, that works, so it doesn't really matter. I think the controller looks fine as it is. It looks a little bit worn, but that's okay for something that was probably bought in the early 1990s. But yes, that's it for now. That is another repair video. Thank you for watching. I have some other repair related and building related videos in the works, so stay tuned for that. But otherwise, thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.